I gave her the biggest hug that I could. And when she saw me, she's like, oh man, finally somebody I see that's on my side.
Right, that can relate.
She was getting hit with everything left and right. And I just said, I hugged her. I said, I'm so proud of you.
Gave her the biggest hug that I could. And when she saw me, she's like, oh, finally somebody that I see that's on my side, right? That could relate. She was getting hit with everything left and right. And I just said, I hugged her. I said, I'm so proud of you. That moment right there, that's Cheryl Miller wrapping her arms around Caitlin Clark when nobody else would. And let me tell you, the WNBA veterans watching that embrace just felt a disturbance in the force. Because when a Hall of Fame legend decides to personally mentor the league's most controversial rookie, that's not just a feel-good story, that's a declaration of war. See, while half the league has been busy trying to humble Caitlin Clark with hard fouls and cold shoulders, Cheryl Miller stepped in and said the quiet part out loud. She's backing the rookie that everyone loves to hate. And now, Caitlin's got the ultimate cheat code. She's learning from someone who didn't just play the game. Cheryl Miller invented the blueprint for dominance in women's basketball. The title promised career news. And here's what's really happening. Cheryl Miller is transforming Caitlin Clark from a talented rookie into an unstoppable force. And the WNBA establishment is starting to realize they might have created their own nightmare by pushing Caitlin into the arms of the one person who knows exactly how to weaponize that criticism. If you believe the WNBA's politics are about to get messy, hit that like button. Because this story goes deeper than anyone's talking about, and we're connecting every single dot. Let's filter out the noise and talk about what's really happening here. Cheryl Miller didn't just give Caitlin a hug. She gave her something far more dangerous: validation, strategy, and most importantly, the playbook for how to survive in a league that treats generational talent like a threat instead of a blessing. You were onto something when you noticed how uncomfortable some veterans looked during All-Star Weekend. That wasn't just rookie hazing. That was a power shift happening in real time, because Cheryl Miller coaching Caitlin Clark isn't like any other mentorship in sports history. This is Michael Jordan deciding to personally train LeBron during his rookie season. This is Serena Williams giving Coco Gauff her entire tennis playbook before she turns 23. That's Cheryl Miller's Hall of Fame speech from 1995, thanking everyone who helped her reach the pinnacle of basketball greatness. And now, nearly 30 years later, she's decided that Caitlin Clark deserves that same level of guidance, the same wisdom, the same relentless mentality that made Cheryl unstoppable. But here's what makes this alliance so dangerous for the WNBA's current power structure. Cheryl Miller didn't just dominate basketball. She did it while facing the exact same jealousy and hostility that Caitlin's dealing with now. Cheryl knows what it's like when your talent makes people uncomfortable, when your success feels like a personal attack to everyone around you, when the league you're elevating acts like you're the problem instead of the solution, and she's teaching Caitlin every single lesson she learned the hard way. Many of you have been saying this for weeks. The WNBA claims it wants stars, but when an actual superstar arrives, half the league treats her like an invasion. Caitlin Clark walks into arenas getting flagrant fouled, trash-talked, and disrespected by veterans who should be grateful she's bringing millions of new eyes to their sport. Instead, they act like she's stealing something that belongs to them. Cheryl Miller watched all of that, and she made a decision. She's not just teaching Caitlin basketball fundamentals, she's teaching her how to handle the politics, how to respond when jealousy masquerades as competition, how to stay mentally strong when everyone's waiting for you to crack under the pressure, how to turn hatred into fuel and criticism into highlights that break the internet. Reading between the lines reveals something fascinating. During the All-Star Weekend, Cheryl Miller had the unique position of coaching both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese on the same team. Two rookies that the media desperately tried to frame as bitter rivals. Two players that every talk show wanted to turn into enemies. And what did Cheryl do? She shut that narrative down completely. she brought them together. She showed the world that these young women aren't the problem. The toxic environment trying to pit them against each other is the problem. That's legendary behavior right there. Because Cheryl understands something that current WNBA players seem to have forgotten. Unity among transcendent talents makes everyone stronger. Division only benefits the people who want to keep women's basketball small and manageable and easy to control. But Caitlin Clark, backed by Cheryl Miller, that's not manageable, that's revolutionary. Let's talk about what Cheryl Miller actually accomplished, because some of you might not realize you're watching greatness mentor. Greatness. Cheryl wasn't just good at basketball, she was a phenomenon. 2-time National High School Player of the Year, 4-time All-American at USC. She set career records for scoring, at rebounding, at free throws, and steals that still stand today, decades later.
Who made their marks on the hardwood, superstars of a growing sport. These are the legends of our game. She was one of the greatest college players ever, a scholastic icon who helped the game climb to new popularity, Cheryl Miller. This 2-time National High School Player of the Year received more than 250 scholarship offers. She picked USC and lived up to every expectation. This 4-time All-American set USC career records for scoring, rebounding, free throws made, and steals. Those records still stand today. When her teams won NCAA titles in 1983 and 1984, she was tournament MVP each time. She was just as dominant for the 1984 Olympic gold medal team. She had a strong second act as a coach and a broadcaster. And in 1995, earned induction into the basketball.
She helped the game climb to new popularity. She was tournament MVP when USC won NCAA titles in 1983 and 1984. She dominated for the 1984 Olympic gold medal team. And even after her playing career, she remained influential as a coach and broadcaster before earning Basketball Hall of Fame induction in 1995. This is who's training Caitlin Clark. This is whose basketball IQ is now being downloaded directly into the rookie everyone's trying to break. The timing couldn't be more perfect or more threatening to the WNBA's old guard, because Caitlin was already special before this mentorship, already breaking rookie records, already selling out arenas, already bringing in viewership numbers that make veteran players' entire careers look invisible by comparison. Now, imagine what happens when she adds Cheryl Miller's decades of wisdom to her already elite skill set. When she learns how to read defenses the way Cheryl did. When she develops the mental toughness that carried Cheryl through her own battles with jealousy and criticism. When she masters the art of making haters look foolish every single time she steps on the court. That's not just a rookie anymore, that's a dynasty in the making. And the WNBA veterans who have been trying to put Caitlin in her place, they just realized they might have made the biggest mistake of their careers by pushing her toward the one person who knows exactly how to turn hostility into greatness. Let me hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Cheryl Miller mentoring Caitlin Clark is going to change the entire landscape of the WNBA? Because I'm seeing a future where Caitlin doesn't just break records, she rewrites what's possible in this league. Drop your predictions below. Now here's where this gets really interesting. Cheryl Miller selected Caitlin Clark as a starter for the 2024 All-Star team, not as a favor, not because of hype, because Cheryl recognized elite talent when she saw it and wasn't afraid to validate it publicly, while half the league was busy pretending Caitlin didn't deserve to be there. That starting lineup announcement sent shockwaves through the WNBA. Caitlin Clark at point guard alongside Breanna Stewart, Nneka Ogwumike, Arike Ogunbowale, and Jonquel Jones. And suddenly, the narrative that Caitlin was just a college player getting exposed in the pros looked ridiculous, because a Hall of Fame legend looked at her game and said, "This is who I want leading my team." But the real story happened behind the scenes. Connecting the dots reveals something the cameras didn't fully capture. Cheryl Miller spent that All-Star weekend dismantling the manufactured rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, two generational talents that the media desperately wanted to hate each other for clicks and controversy. Cheryl shut that down immediately. She got them on the same team, made them work together, showed them that the real enemy isn't each other. It's the system that tries to pit successful women against each other instead of celebrating collective greatness. And in a September appearance on The Mark Jackson Show, Cheryl made her stance crystal clear. She said, "There's no animosity between these rookies. That narrative is manufactured nonsense. These players just want to win." And watching them interact during All-Star Weekend proved that the drama everyone's been selling doesn't actually exist between them. That's powerful leadership right there, because Cheryl Miller isn't just coaching basketball skills. She's coaching Caitlin on how to navigate a league that profits from manufactured beef and fake controversies. She's teaching her to rise above the noise and focus on what actually matters. Excellence, dominance, legacy, and the results are already showing on the court. Let's talk about what Caitlin's been doing since Cheryl took her under her wing. The confidence has leveled up. The court vision has sharpened. The ability to handle defensive pressure has evolved. You're watching a player who's absorbing decades of wisdom in real time and applying it immediately. When Caitlin pulls up from 30 feet out and drains it like it's a layup, that's Cheryl's influence showing. When she threads impossible passes through triple teams, that's Cheryl's basketball IQ being channeled. When she stays composed while getting hammered by defenders twice her size, that's Cheryl's mental toughness training kicking in. The WNBA veterans are starting to realize what they've done. They pushed Caitlin Clark into the arms of a legend who knows exactly how to turn criticism into championship mentality. They tried to intimidate a rookie who now has a Hall of Famer in her corner, teaching her every trick in the book. You know what Cheryl's probably telling Caitlin every single day? When they show you hatred, you show them buckets. When they try to physical you out of the game, you respond with highlight reels that go viral. When they attempt to break your spirit, you break their ankles with crossovers that send them reaching for their trainers. That's the mentality shift happening right now. Caitlin Clark isn't just surviving the WNBA's hostility anymore. She's learning how to weaponize it, how to use every cheap shot, every disrespectful comment, every attempt to diminish her greatness as fuel to become even more unstoppable. And Cheryl Miller is the perfect teacher for that lesson. Because Cheryl dealt with the same jealousy, the same people trying to tear her down out of insecurity, the same league politics that reward mediocrity and punish excellence. She survived it all and became one of the greatest players in basketball history anyway. Now she's making sure Caitlin does the same thing, but faster, more efficiently, with fewer scars and more championships. The comparison to Michael Jordan mentoring Luka Doncic isn't an exaggeration. This is that level of basketball knowledge transfer. When two players with generational talent and elite basketball IQ connect like this, the consequences are irreversible. You're not just watching a rookie get better. You're watching the creation of a dynasty that could dominate the WNBA for the next decade. Some of you WNBA veterans are probably watching this partnership develop and feeling a very specific type of dread. Because you had your chance to embrace Caitlin Clark, to welcome her talent, to celebrate what she brings to your league. Instead, you chose hostility. You chose physical intimidation. You chose to treat her success like a personal insult. And now she's got Cheryl Miller teaching her how to make you regret every single one of those choices. Here's the reality check the WNBA needs to hear. Caitlin Clark was already breaking your league before Cheryl stepped in, already selling more tickets than most veterans sell in entire seasons, already generating more media coverage than the WNBA's gotten in years, already forcing ESPN to actually pay attention to women's basketball. With Cheryl Miller's mentorship, she's about to become untouchable. Every record you thought was safe, threatened. Every veteran who thought they could intimidate the rookie, exposed. Every analyst who said she couldn't translate her college dominance to the pros, looking foolish. Because Cheryl isn't teaching Caitlin to fit into the WNBA's existing structure. She's teaching her to break the mold completely, to play with the confidence of someone who knows she's already legendary, to dominate with the grace of someone who's learned from the absolute best. The next time you see Caitlin Clark step onto that court, understand what you're actually watching. You're seeing Cheryl Miller's protégé, a player with elite natural talent now enhanced by decades of Hall of Fame wisdom. A rookie who's got a legend in her corner, giving her 5 new ways to destroy your defense before tip-off even happens. This isn't just mentorship. This is the WNBA's power structure getting completely reorganized in real time. And the veterans who tried to keep Caitlin in her place. They're about to learn a very expensive lesson about what happens when you push greatness toward legendary guidance. If you want to see what happens when the WNBA finally has to acknowledge what Cheryl and Caitlin are building together, smash that subscribe button and hit notifications. Because this story is just getting started, and the fallout is going to be spectacular. Next video, we're breaking down exactly which veterans are most threatened by this alliance and why they should be terrified. The WNBA wanted drama, they got it, but not the kind they expected. They got a Hall of Fame legend backing a generational rookie, and together they're about to show this league what unstoppable actually looks like. Caitlin Clark isn't here to fit in. She's here to revolutionize, and she's doing it with Cheryl Miller's blessing. Game over.